I just watched the second episode of After the Rain, and it was pretty good. Not much happened in this episode. So we had Mr. Kondo hiring a new employee, which happened to be the annoying guy from the first episode, which I talked about, which was constantly on the girl's case. And he also finds out that they're not together in this episode, so that was some pretty quick progress. But um, she ends up breaking her leg because she has to run across the fucking street to get to the stoplight to give a guy back his phone. And because of this injury, it ends up being a force for connection between Mr. Kondo and this girl because now he has to take her to the hospital. And as a direct result of taking her to the hospital, he now has potential to speak to her family, which he tries to, but she rejects it. And he takes her out to dinner, which is the big moment when we get her saying, I love you by accident. I did not expect that to happen this fast in the show. Typically in romantic comedies, we don't see the gears turning this quickly because they want hijinks. They want all of these awkward moments to sort of lead to the big moment where she says it. But in this show, it happens in the second episode, so that's pretty good for a guy like me who doesn't typically like my shows to hold my hand. And so um, immediately after this, he's just like, "Manager, order! Some guy, get over here and give us more food." And it's really cute. Um, and that's how the episode ends. Um, like I said, there wasn't much that happened in this episode, like to talk about. There wasn't much to analyze per se, but it really got the gears turning plot wise. It got in, did exactly what it needed to do to progress the story forward, and then it got out. There wasn't any particularly strenuous dialogue. I felt all of it was written pretty well. Um, the plot itself worked pretty well to, get Mr. Kondo and the girl closer together. Um, I liked the fact that the dumb guy who had been hitting on the girl all this time had broke the plates, and then when Mr. Kondo comes in, he has to take the girl to the hospital immediately. So he's like, "Oh, well, you can just take care of the place while I'm gone." And it's like, this guy just broke all of these plates. Come on. And that was actually pretty funny. I'm surprised. I'm surprised at the amount of character with which these characters act in the show because in most anime like this, especially from recent years, the characters don't have that much depth. When they make a joke, they aren't usually funny. They just feel like overly exaggerated caricatures of what's in other anime, like Mob Psycho 100, for example. It's just really over exaggerated bullshit over and over again that feels like every other anime that we've gotten a million times over. Whereas here, like I was explaining in the first episode of this series, the characters have enough depth that when they make a joke like this, because they feel like a real person, it feels like something they would say. Everything lines up properly within their characterization, from their character designs, from the things that they've done so far, from the way that they speak, that we get a very cogent package that feels nice. It feels really nice to watch this show, so I'm looking forward to watching the next 10 episodes.